behind her smile was a story of relentless torment, manipulation, and isolation. And it all began with one mistake. Hey friend, welcome to Heart of the Case. My name is Lauren, your favorite therapist, bestie, boy mom, licensed clinical social worker with a deep love for true crime, your guide through cases that not only captivate, but also challenge us to think deeper. Here, we don't just tell stories. We explore the human side, the heartbreak, and the lessons we can carry forward. If you love a blend of true crime, real life reflections, you're in the right place. Today's episode is one that hits very heavy. It's about Amanda Todd, a name you might already know, but the story behind it, it's heartbreaking and infuriating, and so important to talk about. Amanda was a bright, artistic teen who loved music and animals, but behind her smile was a story of relentless torment, manipulation, and isolation. And it all began with one mistake. One photo shared with someone she thought she could trust. I want to stop and remind you all about a few things. If you enjoy the podcast, don't forget to follow, turn on notifications, and leave a rating and review. It's the best way to help others discover Heart of the Case. Oh, and drop a comment too. I'd love to hear from you. Okay, second thing. Before we dive in, I want to give you a gentle heads up. This episode covers cyberstalking, bullying, mental health struggles, and suicide. Please take care of yourself while listening. If you need a break, hit pause, breathe, and come back when you're ready. All right, let's honor Amanda's story. It was October 10th, 2012, when the world learned about Amanda Todd, a 15-year-old girl from British Columbia, Canada. Amanda had posted a YouTube video just weeks before, silently holding up flashcards that told her story of relentless cyberstalking and emotional pain. Her video went viral after her death, but her message remains a haunting plea of awareness and change. Amanda was like any other teenage girl in the mid-2000s. She wanted to vlog. She started a little YouTube page and channel, and she loved chatting with her friends. Her mother states that she was a very shy person. She kind of wanted Amanda to find her voice and to come out of her shell a little bit more. And Amanda's mom struggled because she did notice that Amanda would spend a lot of time in her room, which is very typical for most teenagers, especially teenage girls that are just trying to find their footing and find their way in the world. She created little videos here and there and took a lot of pictures, and she just wanted to make something of herself. Her mom states that she just wanted to be known. She wanted to be popular, something that I think a lot of teenagers can identify with. Well, one day, Amanda asked her mom for a webcam, and her mother said absolutely not. She said there is no reason why a teenage girl should have a webcam in her room. She had this instinct that it just wasn't a good idea. Amanda then asked her dad, and her parents were separated at that time, and Dad was okay with it. Dad made the choice that if she wanted a webcam to express herself, he didn't see anything wrong. He was just going to keep really close tabs on it. And so he let her know that, and she then opted to go live with her father. And she got her webcam and started creating content online. Well, Dad was trying to make sure that he kept her safe and that she was utilizing the webcam in a smart way. Before he went to bed, part of their nighttime routine was he said goodnight to her and told her to turn off all electronics. And Amanda did. She turned things off, but then shortly after he fell asleep, she'd log back in and turn everything back on and continue to do what she was doing. So in around those middle school ages, her trying to get more attention, trying to fit in with the crowds, she decided to lift her top and flash the camera. She did this when she was in 7th grade chatting with someone online, and that moment was screenshotted and became the weapon of her torment. It was essentially used to trap her and blackmail her. He did end up sending this photo to several people at her school as well as her parents, so Amanda had to deal with the consequences of her action. And she let her parents know that it wasn't a big deal. She tried to really shake it off as much as possible, but her mom did notice that she was anxious and that she was becoming depressed, especially after all the nicknames that she was being called at school. Her mom mentions that she hid often, she stayed in her room, and she was afraid. She was afraid because the threats and the cyberstalking continued. Her friends also noticed that Amanda was very anxious. She just wanted everything to die down, and she was hoping that it would all go away if she ignored it. Amanda's parents had no choice but to have her switch schools, and even when she switched schools or tried to start fresh somewhere, he found her again. Her cyber stalker even went as far as to create a catfish account and started chatting with her mom. When chatting with her mom, he utilized a woman's Facebook profile and went undercover as someone that was active for a child protection online group. Her mom chatted back for a while, but essentially she didn't fall for this because this case was already in the hands of the police. Her mom had already been in contact with the Royal Canadian Mounted Police and had alerted them about the further threats that continued to come in towards Amanda and towards herself, but nothing was happening. It had been 10 months since she last reported this extortion. And the threats would come in, request after request. He was wanting her to make 3 shows, 3 15-minute videos. And if she didn't do so, he was going to continue to send out her screenshots to the new places that she would move to. And in his threats, he would really gloat and really push Amanda's buttons. She was getting really tired and frustrated with him. He had mentioned that he had gotten her door kicked down by the police, that he got her to move schools, just kind of gloating about his power and how he controlled her. Social workers, counselors, and therapists became part of Amanda's story. They tried to support her and her family as she moved from school to school, seeking safety and peace. But how do you heal when the world feels so small and your predator, your cyberstalker, seems to always have control? So as she's getting more and more frustrated, Amanda started challenging back, started asking him to meet her in person, asking if he was scared, essentially almost trying to threaten back. Meanwhile, her mom doesn't know that she's still chatting with him. She's aware that the threats are still coming in, and she's following up with the police, asking if there's anything being done. And nothing truly had been done by the police. They put the onus on Amanda and the family. They said that it was up to Amanda to get offline, that's what they strongly suggested. And I want you to be aware that a lot of this communication was happening on Facebook. This cyberstalker had several different accounts. We'll talk about that a little bit later. But the police never formally asked Facebook to monitor or assist. Amanda's mom even asked the police, can we bait this cyberstalker and try to really get down to who could be doing this? And the police didn't follow through. Her cyberstalker would continue to create fake student accounts and then send her photos out to the other students. And as this started happening, Amanda she tried fighting back as best she could. Again, the police was doing nothing. So she really tried to get in front of it. When the photos would go out, she'd start texting her friends, her classmates, letting them know that this was a cyberstalker, that he was a pedophile, that he was disturbed. And she had admitted to classmates that she had made past mistakes, but that essentially she was being sextorted. But her fight and her struggle to stay in front of this just truly was an uphill battle for Amanda. The relentless harassment followed her, not just online, but in her real life as well. She was bullied at school, abandoned by friends, and felt utterly trapped. Amanda began struggling with her mental health. Her anxiety and depression and panic attacks became more and more part of her daily life. What's even more infuriating is as Amanda's life is slowly starting to come apart, in Norway, police are trying to get in front of a second very, very similar situation that a teenage girl had found herself in. And they started tracking the IP address, and they did track that address to a man named Tyler in Holland. They gave all their information and evidence over to the Dutch police department that essentially dropped the ball and did not pursue investigating any further. Amanda's mother has spoken so bravely about her daughter's story, but I can't imagine being a parent and watching your child suffer in this way, feeling powerless against an invisible predator. Amanda's death left not just her family, but her entire community shattered. So when we talk about the legal side, after years of investigation, a man named Aiden Koban from the Netherlands was essentially identified as Amanda's harasser. In 2022, a decade after Amanda's death, Koban was found guilty of child exploitation, harassment, and possession of child pornography. While this brought some sense of closure to Amanda's family, it doesn't erase the pain or the loss Carol Todd continues to advocate for internet safety, mental health resources, and stronger protections for teens online. Her strength and dedication are incredible, and her work carries Amanda's legacy forward. In 2012, after Amanda had passed away, her video on YouTube went viral. Her mom mentions that she had asked simply for some paper and some black markers, and she wrote away her message. Some believe it was a suicide note. Others believe this was her way of making her mark on the world. She shared her struggle online, and people came out in droves to support her. Within this video, she also mentioned that she was planning on getting a tattoo, one that said, "Stay strong," because she intended to keep going. Sadly, she didn't live to get her tattoo or to feel and see the support from this online community that just truly knew and understood and empathized with what she was going through. In regards to Tyler, the FBI had received many complaints, and it turned out that her online stalker, had 86 different Facebook accounts targeting victims from around the world. Amanda's story teaches us so many lessons, not just about the dangers of online predators, but about the importance of mental health support, open communication, and creating safe spaces for young people to share their struggles. To my fellow social workers and parents listening, keep showing up, keep having tough conversations, and keep advocating for safer online spaces. And if you or someone you know is struggling, please reach out for help. In the United States, you can contact the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline at 988, or you can check out resources from organizations like Cyber Smile Foundation and Kids Help Phone in Canada. Amanda's story isn't just a tragedy, it's a call to action. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this, so please head over to Instagram at SocialWorkScrapbook or comment below on this YouTube video and weigh in on this week's poll. What do you think is the biggest challenge online for teens and kids? Let's keep the conversation going. And before I go, a quick sneak peek at our next episode, Raising Confident Kids in an Age of Comparison. We'll talk about the pressures kids face in our hyper-connected world and how we as parents and social workers can help them build resilience and confidence.